I'm Carolee Garrison, and this is Seeking Sunshine, where we find the positive in the trials of life. Why don't you join me? 'Cause I'm seeking sunshine. I'm seeking sunshine. I'm seeking sunshine. Oh, oh. I'm seeking sunshine. I'm seeking sunshine. I'm seeking sunshine. I'm seeking sunshine. If you like this song, this is the acoustic version of Seeking Sunshine that is an exclusive just for my email list, which you can go get at caroleegarrison.com. Just hit subscribe, and then you will get an email that will send you to a place where you can go download the song and have it all for yourself for free. So go check that out. Welcome back to Seeking Sunshine. I am so excited that you are here today, and I hope that something I say will impact you and help you as you look for sunshine in your own life. So today's episode is going to be a little bit different. I am trying something new. I've discovered after doing this podcast for a while that doing interviews, which I absolutely love to do, takes a lot of time because I have to do the interview, I have to schedule it with somebody, and then I go through and edit it, and I make sure that there weren't any parts where they said, oh, I want to cut this out. And basically I go back and I listen to the whole thing. So it takes at least, 3 hours-ish per episode. And with 3 kids with autism and my life being totally insane, that can be a lot of time for me. So I absolutely still want to do episodes like that. But I'm going to try to do episodes like this every once in a while where I just kind of talk to you about things that are going on in my life. And I kind of work through out loud the ways in which I'm looking for sunshine in the craziness that is my life always. So that's what I'm going to do today, is I'm going to just talk to you, tell you about things that are going on with me, and we're going to work through how I can find the good things in the struggles, because my life always has chaos in it. For example, today I said to myself, I am recording this episode today. This is happening, okay? And then things didn't go according to plan, as usual. It's about 1 o'clock, and here has been my day so far. I took my kids to school. That takes about an hour because they go to 3 different schools, and some of those schools are 15 minutes away from where we live. So it's kind of this big, huge round trip thing to take all 3 kids to school. And then my husband starts work not too long after that. So usually I'm home for about 15-20 minutes, just enough time to do some dishes or make myself breakfast or something, and then I go take him to work. So that's what we did this morning. Ran all the kids to school, did the whole thing, got home. We were home for a little bit of time. I had some breakfast. I responded to some emails, and then I took my husband to work. And then as we pulled up to his office, he looks at me and he says, oh no, I forgot my bag. Which means, yay, I need to drive all the way home and then drive all the way back because he didn't have anything with him. He didn't have his wallet. He didn't have any of the things that he needs for his day. So I drove home, and on my drive home, I realized, oh, hey, we also forgot to pack him lunch, which he has some stuff at the office he can eat, but we're making it a goal that I no longer drive back down to his office, which is only 10-15 minutes away, but I'm taking so much of my time driving around for him and the kids that we're trying to make it less, right? So I don't spend all of my day driving. So instead of me going to pick him up and bringing him home for lunch, him just taking it and then staying at the office, right? And so I realized that I had forgotten to either remind him to make himself lunch or make it myself, because let's be honest, that's what usually happens. So I got home, I figured out where he left his bag, and I made him lunch, and then I drove back down and brought him lunch. So by now, I'm about 45 minutes to an hour off of my normal schedule, because my plan usually on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays is that I go drop him off to work, and then I go work out for an hour. I'm trying really hard to get back into the swing of working out. I haven't worked out since before summer happened, and I'm trying to be really low-key about it. Like, it's not the end of the world if I don't make it, but I'm trying to make it for a little while, a few times a week. And I missed Monday. So today's Wednesday, and you probably won't hear this till tomorrow, but whatever. And so I went to work out, and I did my hour workout. So then I didn't get home until noon. And so I'm about an hour off of my plan by now. And then I'm like, okay, I have all of these things I have to do. I have phone calls to make and emails that I have to respond to and parent-teacher conferences I have to schedule, and then a bunch of stuff to reschedule because I didn't realize that my daughter has early outs all week next week. So all the things I had scheduled for next week have to get rescheduled to accommodate that. Right? Life of a mother is crazy. It's all about, it's like I need a secretary for my own life just because it's so much scheduling and figuring out like all these things. So it's finally pretty close to 1 o'clock, and I'm finally done with all of those things I have to do. And I'm like, okay, this is my opportunity to go record my podcast. All right. So I sat down in my living room and I'm like, I'm trying to make this easier. No longer am I going to the basement and setting up the microphone and hooking it up to the computer and making sure it doesn't sound fuzzy. For now, for these meetings, for this podcast episode at least, what I am doing is recording it on my phone because that is the easiest, and I'm trying to make this actually happen more consistently. So I sat down in my living room, all ready to record. I take some deep breaths, and then I realize Dottie, our 5-year-old bulldog, is sitting on the couch next to me, snoring her face off, and she is so loud. And I'm like, this is probably not the best place in my house to record right now because, oh my, like really, she snores so loud. It's really kind of unbelievable how loud she snores. And since she sleeps like 90% of the time, it's usually a constant sound in the background. So one of these days you might hear that on the podcast, but I'm trying to do the best I can in the easiest way. So I went down to my bedroom. We actually have 2 basements in our house, which sounds crazy, but there are 2 staircases that lead to one big basement that is divided and you cannot like get from one half to the other. There's like one side with a staircase and another side. So one side is my room, and I go down there and I realize that like, I don't know what's going on. There's like a vent on or the air on, and it's like super loud and the window's rattling every time the wind blows. And I'm going, there could be a better place, right? And here I go, getting all perfectionistic again when I had this goal to just let it be messy. But whatever, I got in my own head and I was like, okay, I can find a better place in my house. So my next thought was, hey, I just started setting up a sound booth in the other basement in this closet. I should go in there. That's the perfect spot. I can still just record it on my phone. I can still make this as easy as I'm letting it be today. So that was what I decided. So of course I came down to the basement and there's more obstacles in my way. So Dottie is a great dog. She sleeps like all the time. But if she ever has, an accident in the house, which happens because every time we let our other dog out, she's asleep, she always goes in this basement, which on the one hand means that it doesn't get in the way of our morning routine because it's not like in the living room where I'm smelling it and being it's not upsetting our morning routine. It's not taking time out of our mornings. But then I come down here to go do something and it's like, okay, have to clean up dog poop again. So I got all the dog poop cleaned up, my kids don't usually play down here, but for some reason yesterday they decided to come down here and play. Anyways, they had left a bunch of toys out, and so I got those all cleaned up so I could actually walk through the room. They were like little toy soldiers, so they were scattered everywhere, so you couldn't even walk. And then, of course, dog poop was on some of them. And I was like, nope, these are going in the trash. Not cleaning them up. Trying to make it easy, right? So I got it all cleaned up. And I sprayed some smelly spray to make it smell better. And now here I am. Finally recording this podcast. And I want to take a minute and talk about how my day's been chaos. And this is really typical for me and for my life and for this is just how my days go. There's always something. But if I wasn't constantly looking for the sunshine in all this chaos, I don't think I'd get through it. Like, I would crumble and just be a mess all the time. Like, the only way that I'm able to be here talking to you right now, not panicking, not freaking out, not so upset that I can't focus on what I'm saying, is that I'm constantly like looking for the sunshine. And look, this isn't like something that just like super comes naturally. Like, I have to actively look for the good. So the good thing about my husband forgetting his bag at home is that it made me realize that I hadn't made his lunch yet and he didn't have lunch with him. So when I took his bag back to him, I also took his lunch, so I was able to combine what could have easily been 2 more trips down to his office, one to take him the bag, one to come home, and then have him call me going, I'm hungry, I don't have lunch, come get me again, because we only have one car right now, which will be a whole nother podcast episode, I promise. It's its own epic adventure, the car thing. But anyway, so because he forgot his bag, I realized that he didn't have lunch, and I was able to combine it into 2 trips. My husband was really happy that I made him lunch. It really makes his day. He just loves when I make him sandwiches. So I was able to, there was something good in that. Yeah, it was an inconvenience, and it took like a good hour out of my day, but I was able to serve my husband, and I was able to combine 2 trips, so it could have been worse. And that's one of the things I always, like, maybe this tactic doesn't work for everybody, but it's one that really works for me. Thinking about the ways that it could be worse helps me be grateful for it not being worse. So another way that can be implemented in this chaos I just described is sometimes we have 2 dogs. We have a 5-year-old bulldog named Dottie, and we have an 18-month-old Australian Shepherd blue heeler mix named Fury, and he's rambunctious and wild. But sometimes, like, it won't just be like, this is going to be gross, but I'm going to describe it because it's just like the realities of life. There's a big difference in cleaning up dog poop when it's something you can just pick up with a paper towel or a bag versus when it's like liquidy and you have to get the carpet cleaner out and scrub it up. So in this particular circumstance, it was about half and half. And I'm going to choose to be grateful that it wasn't worse, because I definitely have had to clean up worse. I'm grateful that we had the cleaner on hand and that it didn't take me that long and that I was able to just do it and get it over with. And that one thing that I'm always grateful for because I know what it's like when it doesn't happen. I'm grateful that I was in the mental state to be able to handle that chaos. Because, there's just some times when you've already faced so much in your day, when you're already so overwhelmed that you just cannot handle one more thing, and then you see the dog poop on the floor and it sends you into like big nasty messy tears that like give you a headache and screw up the rest of your day. So I'm grateful that I was in a calm enough place that I could just deal with it and move on, because I know that doesn't always happen. And sometimes I am just in a bad place and it's that one extra thing that just throws me over. So anyways, those are all of the chaotic events that led up to me recording this podcast for you right now. And I wanted to get into that just because I think it's important that we practice looking for the sunshine in even the dog poop. Let's look for the sunshine in the dog poop. That seems like a crazy thing to say, but even in the little inconveniences, if we can change the way we think about them and find a way to be grateful and find a way to be positive, it will affect our whole day. And instead of those things stacking up and taking up our patience that is so precious, we can just deal with them and move on and let the rest of our day be amazing. So anyways, when I was planning this episode briefly in my head as I was driving people around, the thing I was going to talk to you about was growth. Specifically my growth, because what else can I talk about? That's the thing I know the best, right? Is myself. So as we approach Halloween, I've been feeling nostalgic, and I've been looking at my own self and my own behaviors and trying to kind of analyze myself. And this year, I'm feeling really different. As we come to Halloween, which has historically been one of my, probably just hands down, my very favorite holiday, because I majored in costume design and makeup at BYU. I love making costumes and dressing up and looking crazy and putting all my effort into that. I have always loved it. And this year, I'm looking at Halloween and I'm just what if I don't dress up this year? Would that just be terrible? And I know that for most people, that it's not a thing. They just don't care that much about Halloween. And if they don't dress up, they're whatever, it's an inconvenience to dress up. But for me to say that, I'm what's wrong with me that I'm even considering just not? Who have I become? And it kind of scared me a little bit. I'm am I, and I'm trying to analyze myself, and I'm looking, am I depressed? Is that why I'm not finding joy in this thing I used to find joy in? And I'm going, I don't think so. I still am finding joy in lots of things. I'm just not feeling this particular thing. And I was thinking about it a lot, and it was kind of bugging me because, and just so you know, if you aren't familiar with me, if you don't know me that well, I go all out for Halloween. For 9 years in a row, since my daughter was first born, we did family Halloween costumes where I went all the way out. I mean, the first year we did Shrek and Fiona and Baby Shrek, and I made them all. Everyone had their face painted green. It was crazy. We went all out. And then let's see, the next year Joshua had been born, and he was the Cheshire Cat because we did Alice in Wonderland. And I made Aurora wear a wig, and she was only 18 months old. And Joshua was the Cheshire Cat, and I couldn't find purple fur anywhere so that I could hand make his costume, right? And so instead of just buying purple fabric, I bought white, long, silky fur fabric, and I dyed it purple. But I didn't know what I was doing because I hadn't taken any of these, I hadn't majored in costume design yet. So this was all just me, making stuff up. So I dyed it purple, but I didn't use the right kind of dye. So then when I tried to wash it, all the dye washed out. So I dyed it again and let it air dry and didn't wash it. And then when my poor newborn, because he was 3 months old at this time, when we were out doing all of our Halloween activities and he started sweating in this full body purple fur suit I had made him, he started turning purple. I have so many amazing memories from all these things I used to do. And I mean, like that same year, Jacob was the Mad Hatter, but I couldn't find a top hat. And also I should mention that we never had like any money for any of this stuff. So like buying these costumes wasn't really an option. I was just using the cheapest materials I could find or whatever I could find at home. So he was going to be the Mad Hatter, but I couldn't find a top hat for him. And also he has a really big head, so like normal hats just didn't work. So I took just like it might have been a Dollar Tree hat, like some kind of bowler hat. And I found I think it was a corset. And I wrapped the corset around the top of the hat and then stuffed it and like put a bunch of stuff on it. Like I had so many great memories. And I mean, there's the time when we did, this is so much fun to reminisce because I just love Halloween. And if this doesn't like get you into how much of a change this is in me, then I don't know what will. We had one year when we did Peter Pan. And like I said, my husband has a giant head, so normal hats don't fit him. So I needed a pirate hat. I made him his pirate like coat by hand. And then I needed his hat, but we couldn't afford to buy one. I mean, we were totally broke for those whole 9 years. And so I got this like foam hat from the Dollar Tree and I split it down the middle to make it bigger. And then I used duct tape and fabric and feathers and I just created this like gorgeous pirate hat out of basically nothing. Like I was so proud of how it turned out. Basically, for so long, I have been really, 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 really gung-ho about Halloween. And honestly, just kind of in every area of my life. Like that tends to be like the thing about me. I'm really, really intense. I'm really ambitious. I'm kind of impatient. I want things done now. I mean, when I was a kid, I was so excited for Halloween that I dyed my own fabric in the middle of my living room. I was a teenager. And my family will tell you about that because they still think it's hilarious that I did that. Like, I want what I want and I will find a way to make it happen. And I'm realizing like how much of my life it's just been go, 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 force, force, force. I want this and I will make it happen. Like the determination just would not quit. And now I'm sitting here looking at myself going, who am I? Because I've changed. Like, I'm not quite that same person anymore. And for a little while, I was like, what's wrong with me? Like, is this a bad thing? That I no longer am, like, determined to have the best Halloween costumes anyone has ever seen? And I guess I should add in, we did it for 9 years. We did these big family costumes. The last year we did it was 2018. And that year we did Beauty and the Beast, which is a big deal. And I went all out and I made all the costumes from scratch. And it was this huge thing. But a couple of weeks before Halloween, Joshua was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. And then when it came to Halloween, everything went wrong. We tried to dose him. We had to prick his finger to get his blood so we could find out what his blood sugar was because he didn't have a Dexcom yet. And he moved because he's also severely autistic, if you aren't familiar with Josh. He was 7 at the time, by the way. So he was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, and we pricked his finger, and he moved, and it sliced his finger open. Not bad enough to, like, go to the hospital, just bad enough that you put a Band-Aid on it, and it'll be good to go. But he would not leave a Band-Aid on his finger. And so we spent hours sitting on the floor, physically holding it closed, stopping him from ripping it back open to keep it bleeding, because he was squeezing it and making it bleed more. Like, it was a nightmare. So we had gotten all dressed up. Like, we were literally right about to walk out the door to go do all of the Halloween activities. And then we spent 2 hours sitting on the floor in our costumes, trying to keep this kid from bleeding out, who had such a small cut that a simple Band-Aid would have fixed it. But since he's severely autistic, he wouldn't leave it on his finger. And so that Halloween in 2018, we missed every Halloween activity we had planned. We missed the big church Halloween party. We missed all the trick-or-treating. We missed all of it. And my kids were, Joshua was 7, so Aurora was 8, and Benjamin would have been about 4. And we missed everything. And I was completely devastated because I had worked my tail off for months on these costumes. And don't get me wrong, we, got everyone in costume and we went to the BYU library and I made them smile for pictures because pictures are what matter the most. But my husband made me promise that I wouldn't do it again, that I wouldn't put all my hopes and dreams into these costumes and spend months and months and months. And he was right. It destroyed me that year when we missed everything. I had put so much into it and it was for nothing. So after that, in subsequent years, I made my kids' costumes, didn't really work too much on my husband's and mine, and life just sort of rolled out. And here I am, all these years later, and I'm just what's the point? What's the point of putting all of this work into something we're going to wear for a couple of hours, maybe? That none of my family wants to wear for a long period of time? That's going to get shoved into a box and certainly not worn again next year? What's the point? And I've been finding myself lately realizing that I'm no longer putting all of this effort and energy into things that are short term. I'm much more focused on the long term, on what's going to be here in the future. What is something that's going to stick around? And I had this really great coaching call with this life coach. Her name is Kara Berkeley. Totally recommend her. She's amazing. And she said, maybe you're growing. Maybe this doesn't have to be a bad thing that you've changed like this. And it was just really oh, maybe it's okay that I'm a different person than I was even a few years ago. Maybe it's okay that I've calmed down. In fact, maybe it's a good thing. Guys, I used to never, ever sit still. I forced everything I did, and nothing worked out well. It worked out okay, but it was out of sheer determination and force that I insisted things be as amazing as they could be, but I wasn't letting any divine help or peace enter into that situation. It was all anxiety and worry and forcing things. And I've been learning over the last year how important it is to take time to just sit and be still. Because how can you let God guide you if you don't take time to listen? How can you look for the sunshine if you are running and your mind never turns off? How can you get through life if it is never-ending chaos and you don't allow yourself some peace once in a while? So it's been a tough lesson for me because it's very much the opposite of my natural self. I am so very go all the time. I want this done, and I will do it myself. And now I'm working on collaborating with people and letting things take time so that they can be the best they can be, which honestly has been such a tough lesson for me. If you follow me on social media, then you will have seen this already, but I will say it here just in case. I'm actually, so I was planning on releasing my album that I've been working so hard on for the last year. I was planning on releasing it like next week, like the end of September. I was like, this is the perfect time. It's been exactly a year since I started working on it. This is my deadline. Like, I want this done. And I got it all done. Like, I got all of the stuff done as I can possibly do. And I had this experience where I finished a song and I was over the moon. I was like, this is so good. And I was so excited to share it with my husband. And so I shared it with him, and his reaction kind of devastated me. He said, this song is too good to release right now. Do not release your album yet. This song needs live instruments. This song could be just incredible if it had all of the things that it needs. It's such a good song that it deserves better. And guys, I don't know exactly what's wrong with me, but I cried for 3 days after he said that. I was like it was kind of like the final crushing of old Carolee. I can't do everything by myself. And that blow hit me so hard. And don't get me wrong, if I didn't know that he was right, you'd be hearing that album right now. It would be out and whatever. It would be a thing. But because in my heart of hearts, I knew he was right, that's what happened, is I had to deal with that, with those really, really strong emotions and disappointment in myself, because I've always been that person who's like, I can do everything by myself. I don't want help because no one can do it as fast as I can. And no, I've only, and you know what, the more I think about it, the more I realize what a selfish perspective that is, and how much better it is to be open to somebody else who has different talents, who can add value to this project in a way that I just don't know. Just accepting that I don't know all of the things, and that there are people who know more, who can and are willing to help make my project so impactful and so much better than it could be if I just do it alone. It's been quite an eye-opening journey and transition for me to go from this driven, ambitious person who forced everything to recognizing the value in being calm and letting things happen. Because I've always been such a worker. That was always my thing. I would tell people, I'd be like, I will work harder than anyone you have ever met. But it turns out that that's not actually the best quality. I still love to work hard. I love having a project and working on it, and I will go all out. But I'm coming to realize that hard work is not the epitome of perfect qualities. Being still and being guided by the Spirit is so much better. That's just period. That's it. So anyways, I'm still pretty high strung, as you can tell, but I am working on being calm, on, humbling myself and sitting still, which is a really difficult thing for me to do because I'm very just driven to go all the time. So anyways, I hope that you can get something out of this episode, as you go on this like mental chaos journey with me, you have to take time to be still. You have to take time to reflect. Because if you just go all the time, you never have the opportunity to appreciate what you have. And to even just to appreciate like how far I've come and how much work I've done. Like, what's the point in doing all of that work? Like, for example, doing all those Halloween costumes. What is the point if I finish this giant project of our Halloween costumes, but I don't take a moment to sit there and look at it and go, wow, look what I just did. Look how epic these costumes are. Because honestly, I never did that. I would just move on to the next project. Because what comes after Halloween? Oh, look, it's Thanksgiving and it's our anniversary and it's Christmas and huge projects line one after the other. Like, I just never stopped. And like that whole expression, like, stop and smell the roses. Like, yes. Like, do that. And maybe I'm this like totally unique kind of person, because I think I'm very like A-type personality, and I know that there are a lot of B-types out there who listen to this and they're like, nope, I could just sit in my bed in pajamas all day and be totally happy. And I'm like, I could never do that. It's just not me. But there's actually like positives and negatives to both. Like, I think with those two personality types, we kind of need to meet in the middle. We need to be able to see that there are benefits to both sides. One of the things that I've been saying lately that I just love, because it is so true, and I like said it to my husband earlier today, is that there are blessings in every trial, and there are trials in every blessing. Like, there are two sides to every coin. It doesn't matter what you are going through or what just happened. There is something that is good and there is something that is bad. So just like with the two personality types, like, there are good things about being an A-type personality, and there are good things about being a B-type personality. And then there are also drawbacks. Like, I think the best is to recognize the benefits of both so that you can appreciate what you naturally have, but also strive to have balance in that and meet in the middle so that we can work really hard, but also rest really hard. Is that a weird thing to say? Let's work really hard and rest really hard. Like, I'm going to be determined and ambitious about sitting still and doing nothing. That seems like a little bit of a contradiction, but whatever, I'm going to go with it. My point is just that rest is good. And as I am growing and maturing, which, honestly, I never thought I would still be growing so much at this age. I'm 32. And I'm like, shouldn't I have been like this mature like a long time ago? And I just was not. Like, I'm like, for the first decade of my kid's life, I was like just wild. But whatever, you know what? And that's another point I want to make is like, I am making a distinct point to not blame my former self for being so high strung. Because you know what? I think I needed that in the moment. Like, there was a lot, so much trauma going on in my life during those 9 years. Like, just so much trauma happening in my life that I think I really needed those Halloween costumes to distract me, to give me a purpose, to make me feel, it sucks to say, but to make me feel like I had a reason to be there and like talents and like I was needed. Like, at that time, that's what I needed. And so even though I'm recognizing now how flawed my mindset was then, like, I also, at the same time, I refuse to blame old Carolee for those old ways of being, because I know that I was doing my best. I know it. And that's it. Period. It's not going to do me any good to look back and be like, I sucked. Jeez, I should have been totally different. Like, it doesn't do any good because it's in the past. I can make apologies where I need to, but I don't think that there's nothing specific that comes to mind with that. Like, I can make recompense for anything I did that was, like, harmful, but I don't need to bash myself for who I was now that I know that there's a better way to be. I hope that helps somebody. And I hope all of these, like, self-reflective, like, stuff that's just spilling out of my face, I hope this is helpful to you. I hope that you can look at your own life and reevaluate some things, because it's important to keep growing. It's important to keep learning. We're all here so that we can constantly improve. Like, that's the whole point of this life. So anyways, I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Seeking Sunshine. If you are interested, oh my gosh, I think I, like, started this topic and then didn't finish it. So, let me, like, jump back for 1 second. In all that mess, I was going to tell you about my crowdfunding campaign. So in the whole thing with the album, I realized that I needed to upgrade my music. I needed to take a step back from forcing this album to be ready on time and take a step back and improve all of the things. So, like, I was using the recording studio at BYU. I really need my own recording studio at home. I've been using this free GarageBand app on this really old computer. Found out last night my computer is early 2015. So it's like, yeah, it's old. It doesn't work great. So, like, improving, like, the DAW I'm using, like, upgrading from GarageBand to Logic, getting my home studio set up, and getting a solid computer. Anyway, so basically I started a GoFundMe campaign to crowdfund the money so that I can upgrade all of my things. So if you've heard any of my music thus far, just know that, like, everything that was done was basically what I could do for free. What I could do with my own knowledge, which is extremely limited. Like, literally, you should know, a year ago when I started writing my album, I didn't know chords. Like, I didn't know that I needed to put chords in my songs. Like, that's how far I've come in the last year to, like, producing my own stuff. So, on the one hand, I am nowhere near professional, and my music has a long way to go. But on the other hand, like, if you look at where I was a year ago, it's, like, shocking how far I have come. Anyways, so I am doing this crowdfunding campaign to raise the money so that I can upgrade my music, so that it can go the places that it deserves to go, so it can change the lives that it could change. Because honestly, like, my music, I feel like it is so inspired, and that there is just so much good it could do if the people who need it hear it, but they're not going to hear it if it isn't good enough to be distributed. Does that make sense? Anyways, so I'm trying to upgrade it. So if you feel like donating to my GoFundMe, that would just be so amazing and so incredible. I will make sure that that is in the show notes, but it's also, like, all over my Facebook page and everywhere. It's also on my website, which, if you don't know, is caroleegarrison.com. And I, like, updated all the things on my website. So the fundraiser's up there, my podcast is up there, everything. It's all there. So sign up to get emails. I'm, like, finally actually figuring out how to send out newsletters. So that's a thing that I have not been doing up until now. But whatever, it's starting. Like, I'm not gonna blame myself. I'm just gonna move forward. And I hope that you will do the same. So thank you so much for listening today. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you did, please leave a review and share it with somebody. I would love for this message to reach the people who need it, the people who need to work on forgiving themselves, and the people who need just like hope and sunshine in their lives. I really want this message to reach the people who need it. So if you could leave a review and share it, that would mean so much to me. And like, that's the end. I'm gonna like shut up now so you can move on with your day. I will leave you with one of my favorite songs that I released a few months ago that's probably gonna get a makeover and be re-released with my album. But for now, here is Wait. I heard you want to quit again. You're feeling like a fool for thinking that this path was meant for somebody like you. You put yourself out there again. Your confidence is scarred. If this was really meant to be, why is it so damn hard? But wait, maybe it doesn't have to look the way they said it did. And wait, what if it's not too late to change your mind or change the world? Don't give up just yet. Feels like an empty shell, and you forgot to breathe. You have a desperate longing for a hope you can't yet see. I've seen how much you've sacrificed. I know inside you burn. You don't think that you're good enough, but tell me what you've learned. But wait, maybe it doesn't have to look the way they said it did. And wait, what if it's not too late to change your mind or change the world? Don't give up just yet. You may think your time has come and gone, but another day is coming with the dawn. Wait, maybe it doesn't have to look the way they said it did. And wait, what if it's not too late to change your mind or